Hello, we are Geeks Assembled. Today, Susan joins me to discuss a five-part mini-series from 2019, which was modern historical drama based on true events. We are talking a worldwide disaster which happened in the Ukraine in 1986. We are talking Chernobyl. It's a hard-hitting drama series. This I've never seen it before. It's the first time I've sat through this and watched it. But I remember it always being on the news when it was happening back in '86. I was only 16 at the time, just turned 16, and everybody was worried. You know what's going to happen. You know what about the nuclear fallout? And this story is about how it happened, how they tried to stop it, and how eventually they did sort of stop it, and the people behind it all. It's just a gripping drama. It doesn't hold back. So we'll go over to Susan with their opening thoughts on this drama series, Chernobyl. Over to you, Susan.
So, excuse me. Yeah, it was so strongly suggested that I watch this. I used to, I spent 1986, the summer of 1986, right after this in Turkey. And the only reason that I felt comfortable going to Europe at the time, to Europe and Asia, or like sort of near Asia, was because of the actual the big clouds of radioactive material blew over Siberia and up north to the North Pole. Basically, they basically floated up through Norway and Sweden and Finland, and then up to the North Pole, and kind of just stopped there because it sort of kept it there for a while. So that was an interesting time to be in Europe anyway, because people were not comfortable. They were afraid to eat certain things, drink certain drinks, and I see why, because this is really, really hard hitting. I mean, it talks about the sacrifice of a bunch of miners whose livelihood was being challenged already by the nuclear power plant.
Yeah,
they were coal miners in a coal powered in a region of Ukraine that is rich with resources and minerals, and also rich with people resources, and so this collapsed. When this collapsed, they really had to go and rely on the people whose livelihood was being threatened the most by the nuclear power plant, which was the coal miners, because you can create the steam usually by two methods: one is coal, one nuclear, or there's hydrothermal and wind power and all these other things now that can create electricity. But the whole heat structure with the heat sinks in this thing is that they are looking at. I mean, it's just the collapse of those containers that they had was all because they used cheap materials and stuff, and so it was definitely difficult, and these two played the real life characters, and then the woman who's played by Emily Watson is actually she actually was a conglomeration of all these other scientists and all these other people, and they all these other situations that happened with all these other people were all sort of smushed together and put into her her personality and her dialogue. And so it was basically Jared Harris, who is like, from now till forever, he is Harry Seldon now and then we've got Baron Vladimir Harkonnen over here, also in my mind. And these two, of course it's these two. Of course it's that issue. And so, yeah, it was really good. And it was really,
I mean, I'm sorry to put in there, but I do like the way those two characters, it must have happened in real life. There was cold towards each other to begin with. It wasn't friendly at all, but their friendship grew with all the, with the pressures and the stress of what they were trying to do. They became so close by the end of this.
agreed.
They trusted each other on the decisions, and so really well acted.
Yeah.
Back to you, Susan.
No, they really were. They were really. I don't know if the actors felt it, but the decisions that they made as actors towards their characters were that they would have to learn and grow in trust between the scientific community and the Politburo, and the Central Committee. I mean, really, it's kind of amazing that anybody influenced by the Central Committee would be against, the normal political realm and the normal scientific realm. And we saw that a bit with our most recent president in the U.S. is that he was beholden to Putin, and for sure. So sort of the same stuff is happening. So anyway, especially with the power grid, and like Texas, it snows a couple of feet and suddenly Texas is without power, the whole grid goes down, and so whatever, because of this stuff and the influence of what's going on in the Kremlin or in Moscow. And that's really what's interesting too, is like it's really timely because right now Putin is at war with Ukraine, and it would, I mean, they were actually discussing like who would maintain control over the Chernobyl nuclear power plant again. I mean, it's just, don't these people ever learn? Oh my God.
What gets me about
Nutty.
this is what is the way in the Chernobyl events, it was all the information was on shutdown. It was news, news was blanked out. There was not allowing any sort of news out of the country for the rest of the world. Everything's fine.
Yeah,
And very similarities to what's happening now.
I know, isn't it? It's just like super timely.
They never learn, do they?
Oh my God, no. And to be real honest, for the people of this world, we just have to come behind the Ukraine again, because again, all this stupid stuff is coming down from Russia and influencing the decisions and the transparency and everything. And you're right about that. And did what there were a lot of really intense moments. The thing that one of those moments was when they had to take a swim underneath this concrete pod that protected from this nuclear ball of plasma that's sort of melting through that same concrete pad to put the thing in.
There were brave people, very brave people.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there was at the end of the credits of this, there was telling you what happened to the people, the real people after the events of this, and I'm sure it said that two of them divers were still alive.
Yeah.
One passed away, but so brave.
Yeah.
They didn't know what they were doing.
They had no lights.
They had well, no, because the nuclear the radiation was draining everything, wasn't it? It was.
Exactly. Oh my god. Oh, and like watching the the little pad, those little squares with all the rods go jump around. Oh my gosh, that was crazy.
Yeah, it was. It was just. It was a great story. I mean, a great story. It was a horrific story, shall we say?
Yeah.
But it was amazingly told in this. I think it was filmed in Lithuania and Ukraine. Um, before before the before the shit show started again.
Yeah.
But the casting in this, as you say, you've got Jared Harris as Valery Legasov,
Yeah.
deputy director of the was it Korkachev Institute. Then you've got Stellan Skarsgård behind there, Susan, as Boris. I'm never good with these Russian names. I've got Sherbina, Council of Ministers.
Sherbina.
Sherbina. We've already mentioned Emily Watson, but you also had Paul Ritter as Delatov, the one who was in denial of anything wrong and telling his workforce to keep pressing those buttons.
Gosh, yes.
Yeah. Who else did we have in here? Sam Troughton was in this as well.
Yeah, another of the Troughton family.
And we also had Barry Cohen as Pavel, the young soldier who was sent out to kill the animals.
Kill dogs and cats. Oh,
And just recently, Barry Cohen is sort of in the limelight as the Joker in the Batman movie.
oh. Ah. Oh, wow. Really? That's amazing. I'm gonna have to look.
He cut out scenes, of course. But yeah, it's this. The story drags you in because you know it's true. Well, I would say most of the story what we watched is true, but there must have been some fabricatings here and there just to make it more gripping, I suppose.
Yeah. Not that a
I,
nuclear meltdown isn't really fucking grippy
yeah,
anyway.
there was mostly some things in this what didn't happen, shall we say?
Well, right. The fact that all of those scientists and all of those community members that influenced the writing of that one character.
Yeah.
Emily Watson character. What's her name? Let's see.
Ulana Komyuk.
Yeah.
But I mean, even they had the fire brigade trying to put out a nuclear explosion with water, with graphite all over the ground.
Yeah, and the graphite was the stuff that was the most.
The closest thing to the
nuclear pile.
Yeah, but the company was in denial about this. No, you cannot see graphite on the floor. But they killed all those firemen.
They did.
I mean, and to see that fight, the fireman who we saw with his wife, who didn't really understand what was going on, and to see him decay like he did.
Yeah, and she kept fighting her way past guards, past nurses, past all these people, past walls, basically to love on him and to hold his hand while he passes away.
I mean that was some amazing makeup or whatever they did to him. And I say eventually he dies, and then you find out they were all buried in concrete.
Yeah.
Which they were doing with the animals as well, because every animal was radioactive. they had to, get rid of the animals what were running wild in the streets. See, I'd never heard of these stories until I watched this. Because when you're 16 years old, you don't really know there's been a nuclear explosion. That's all you hear. You don't hear about what these guys had to put up with to get the job done. It
Yeah.
was too much red tape, Russian red tape.
Yeah. And journalism control.
Yeah. And as well, the two main characters played by Harris and Skarsgård, when Harris's character turned around to him and said, "We're already dead. We're here now. We could have 5 years left of our lives." Skarsgård's face when he told him that, his realization that he'd been sent there.
He was expendable.
Expendable, yeah.
Brutal.
And good on Stellan Skarsgård because he won the Golden Globe for that portrayal.
Oh yeah.
This did win quite a few awards, but he won I think it was a supporting actor. But
Cool.
it was just amazing.
Yeah, it really was.
It's not often that I sit down and watch a gripping drama like this.
Yeah.
We'll have to delve into some others at some point, some more just gut-wrenching dramas.
Yeah.
And, anyway, over to you, Susan. We've been back and forth, but over to you if you carry on what you want to say.
Oh no, it's all right. The other point that was really amazing was when they were digging the tunnel, and they just all these miners just ended up like taking off all of their clothes.
Yes, it was a willy fest.
And they were just underground, buck naked mining, because that's what they do when they are down there. They said that's what they do in the hot underground mines when they're digging out for coal too. I never heard that about miners, and they never got naked in this country. Let me just say that. I've been in quite a few mines. I worked in the mining industry for a number of years, and I never saw.
Was you always waiting outside the mine shaft though?
I was not. I never took my MSHA, my mining safety and health administration test, and got any sort of qualifications to go underground. Sometimes they rush you through like a 6-hour version if you're just going to be driving things in or driving things out, but I never got it done, so I was always up in the dry or on the surface. But I was in a lot of mines, and I never saw that, but whatever, it could happen.
I think there was 400 miners, and I think 100 died
from radiation. Yeah.
It
makes sense.
Yeah, it was just watching all their efforts because they couldn't get anywhere near the core. They couldn't fly over the core. I mean, it proved it with the helicopters where it just all the electronics went and it crashed down.
Plummeted. Yeah. That was intense.
I mean, they even got a German, was it
space rover
buggy
space
or whatever.
Space
robot, but of course the Russian government lied to them about the problems, so it didn't work.
It was not rated for that. It was rated for the lowest radiation possible,
because
like 3,600 instead of 500,000.
Yeah, because the government were in denial and didn't want the world to know that they were in trouble.
Yep.
What sort of government is that?
I don't like it. I don't like the non-transparency aspect of this. Government should be transparent. I mean, we should know stuff.
Yeah, if you're in trouble and you need help, ask for help.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, say this was only five episodes, but they jammed a lot into this.
Yeah.
There was also the young, I think he was only 20 odd year old, who was there pressing the buttons. You know,
Yeah.
they were sort of like trying to make you blame them.
Yeah.
But you know, it turns out there was a fault with this button. If you press it, there was a fault, and the Jared Harris's character knew about this.
Yeah.
So that was another cover up. What they'd covered up years before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do they call it? The AZ5 or whatever. And it was like
button, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like they didn't realize that with that low power, you're just crushing everything down into the graphite and not all the way into the tube.
Yeah.
And so it just went.
And that played on his mind until the end of his life, because he committed suicide in real life.
Yeah.
Which we see at the beginning in episode 1, where he's recording those tapes as his sort of what should we call it? What do you call it when you record something before you die?
It's like a last moments or
to get the story out there.
Yeah.
So
a memoir.
Yeah, something. Yeah, so it was an amazing drama. I don't know why I missed it. As I say, it was from 2019. I don't know why.
Everybody, listen. The reason I asked for this, because everybody I know was speaking about this just as the pandemic was starting. Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, now I can finally watch Chernobyl," and I was like, "You're kidding? Is it that good?" And they're like, "Yeah, it is." And so I went into this having a bunch of preconceived notions and everything. And yeah, so I ended up buying this thing to rewatch.
Cool.
Because, yeah, I'm straight up all for Ukraine. I have friends I have a friend right now who lives in Vinnytsia. I have a bunch of friends who were recently in Kiev. And I also I've been on the other side of the Black Sea from Ukraine. I've been in Romania and Bulgaria and Turkey, all along the Black Sea, and then right across from Ukraine, and close to and I was there that summer of 1986. Just like 900 miles south or 1,000 miles south in Turkey. It was incredible how this impacted the world that year. Like people didn't trust traveling, and they didn't trust there was a lot of breakthrough that had happened in like 84 and 5 with Reagan and Gorbachev and stuff like that, and Bush and Gorbachev, and then literally
Yeltsin through that, yeah.
Yeltsin, and then literally like after this, there was like a pulling away. Like everybody was like, we don't trust them anymore. God, they had a huge explosion in a power plant, and that's when this one radio show started on public radio in California, which is like this story that about nuclear power and the whole idea of nuclear things. And it's been like a 40-year discussion on nuclear power and nuclear war and nuclear bombs and all this stuff that we can do either with fission or fusion. And I just think that it's just amazing because it's still dangerous as hell.
I
And
mean,
they thought that it was a bomb, but it was when the radiation reached Sweden, I think they said that it was like, oh, well, it's the decay of this particular form. It's like funny because like they can figure out what things what they were decaying from if they were still radioactive and they had and a certain amount of the material had changed into this other stuff. Because each of the different parts of each of the different nuclear elements, radioactive elements at the bottom of the periodic scale, their periodic table, all of those they decay into all these other things that are spread throughout the periodic table, but each one is linked directly to one. I mean, it's like a one-in-one translation. It's like everything has its like the xenon, like that they were talking about, like the xenon part of this was also part of what. No. They said boron. What did they say? They said boron. Oh, anyway, I don't remember. But and I'm no nuclear scientist. I mean, I did study physics, but I studied astrophysics, so I really wasn't.
You're not teaching us how to suck eggs, are you?
No.
No. I'll tell you something. Watching this, I learned a few things because I never realised the facts and figures and stuff like this. But I never realised that Chernobyl will be radioactive for what I think he said, was it 200,000 years?
Yeah.
And it's still radioactive now. I think there's only 100 people what live there, but they do tours there.
Yeah.
When I found that out, I thought that's unbelievable. You're taking your life into your own hands.
Yeah.
By
That's ridiculous.
going on a tour bus, wearing a hazmat suit or whatever it is, and a Geiger counter. If your Geiger counter goes too far in the red or whatever, you got to come back.
or if it goes way too far into the red, you're never coming back.
You're never coming back. Why would you take a risk like that?
Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God. That's intense. Holy crap, really?
But people do. People pay a lot of money to go on a trip there.
God, crazy.
I don't know. Anyways, anything else you'd like to say about Chernobyl?
The graphite on the roof and the graphite.
No, it wasn't there. You didn't see graphite on the roof. It wasn't there.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah. The other thing that was amazing was like you've seen the episode of Doctor Who that is dealing with the cyclotron in the Inferno episode.
Yeah.
And in this, you actually see a nuclear power plant that looks just like that. I mean, like they did a really good job creating a nuclear power plant in Doctor Who. And because you've seen it, and it looked a lot like that one in Chernobyl.
Well, I think most nuclear power plants sort of had the sort of same planning structure, don't they?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about it. I just think that it was just amazing. Like the power, how the way that they deal with the rods of uranium or whatever it is, uranium, and it goes down, and then it actually causes the energy, and then release, and then
steam, and
yep.
Yeah, it was just an amazing drama, and you felt for everyone who unwittingly went in there
Oh
um,
gosh.
lost their lives.
In a
Yeah,
terrible way, the radiation just like melted all their body.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the drama, it said that over the thousands of people have died, but the Russian government only state 38 people.
Oh no. Oh my
The facts are there, plain and simple to see.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
What can,
Whoa. Whoa. Just intense.
a blinkered government. Yeah,
Uh,
there's a few of them about.
a few. Yes.
A few. Um, shall we fancy and score then?
Sure.
Over to you.
I will give this 9 irradiated fire costumes out of 10.
Cool. And those fire suits are still there,
I know.
still covered in radiation. Um, I'm gonna I'm gonna give this 9.5 chunks of graphite out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, you never saw the graphite. You never saw the graphite.
It wasn't then. It wasn't now.
Wasn't
Um, yeah, it just misses out half a pound because there's always for me a bit of doubt what was made up, what was real.
Yeah.
If I knew the facts of what actually was real all the way through, and if the facts of what was sort of added just to more added drama,
Yeah.
because they don't tell you that, do they?
Okay, I'm changing mine because I'm just like going back in my head and thinking about the relationship that they showed between between those 3 characters, the 2 scientists and the Politburo guy. I thought that was really well done. So, yeah, I was good. The reason I took it down a notch is because there weren't as many, related. Anyway, so now I totally will raise it up to a 10. Yeah,
Cool.
because I don't want to forget that was so that was so well done. How they start off not trusting each other and not having a lot of real conversations, and ended up having real tough ones, and
Yeah, just an amazing drama. If you guys out there, if you haven't seen this, it's available. You can buy it as Susan did. It's if you've got Sky, it's the box set there for free. Just download it like I did.
oh,
Um,
cheers.
um, it's just an amazing. It's a horrific event, but an amazing story. Told over 5 episodes. So that's our little review of Chernobyl. We review anything. And so this is hard hitting drama based on true events, of course. But next time we could be reviewing a musical
Hmm.
or a cartoon. You never know.
Yeah,
But this is the way we roll.
we didn't
Uh,
do anything to do with Sondheim though, so sometime we're gonna have to do something that he did.
See, look, she's hinting. But yeah, you guys out there, let us know what you thought of Chernobyl if you've seen this. If not, go and watch it. Then come back and let us know what you thought of it. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Insta. We're all over the place. If you want to join us, just send us a message on social media, of course. All we ask of you is to have a tablet, a PC, laptop, even a mobile phone with a working camera and microphone, and you're in. 18 plus only, though, because some things we watch or some things we talk about is a bit more, can be adult related. So 18 plus. And when you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the bell notification button. and you'll get a little ding like that every time we put up a video. So I think that's it, is it? I've done all the
Yep.
bump. So until next time, guys, please be safe. Don't believe everything in the news, because there's a lot of made up stuff out there. So, and before we go, our hearts go out to the people of the Ukraine.
Yeah. We stand with you.
Power to Ukraine.
Glory to Ukraine. Slava Ukraina.